going on, guys? Arekkz here. Welcome back to another video for Bleeding Edge, and today is the day we finally get to speak about MEKKO, the super cute baby dolphin riding a mech. I mean, come on, that is awesome. Of course, Bleeding Edge is out now and hopefully you guys have been diving in and having some fun, but today I wanted to continue with my series of guides to go over this new addition to the roster. Once again, I want to give a massive shout out to Ninja Theory for very kindly sponsoring this series and teaming up with me so that I can bring you an early look at this character. If you missed any of our previous guides, then you can check them out over on the channel, as we've now covered all the currently available playable characters, going over everything you need to know to get started. So let's talk about MEKKO. MEKKO is the 4th addition to the tank roster, now providing tank players with a ranged offering and a means to support their team from afar. He plays a little unconventionally, since good use of this character and your ability to stay alive and firm incoming damage will hinge heavily on your ability to manage your bubble shield. More on that in a moment. But in doing so, MEKKO also has the ability to use power orbs to augment and enhance his special abilities, offering your team additional benefits and hindering the opponent even more. So while this character may be a little bit tricky to learn at first, once you master them, they truly are a force to be reckoned with. Starting off with your basic abilities, MEKKO has a sonar gun. This is your primary weapon that you can use to chip away at your opponents, and much like the other ranged characters in the game, this gun also affords you the ability to attack from different elevations, so be sure to use that to your advantage. While yes, you are a tank and you can of course survive on the front lines, you are also incredibly effective when at range, so position yourself strategically whenever you engage. Following on from there, you have your bubble block. This is where your tanky ability comes from, and it's through this that you'll be able to firm incoming hits. Holding down RT will bring up your bubble shield, and this will absorb incoming damage. All whilst your shield is up and you're taking damage, you're also charging your power orbs, which will be incredibly useful later on. A couple of important things to note about your shield, however. Firstly, all whilst you have it up, it will begin to deplete the shield meter at the bottom of the screen. Once this reaches 0, your shield will break and you will take damage for a few seconds. Additionally, following a break, you'll have to wait for the shield to recharge to at least half bar before you can reactivate it again. So good use of this will involve holding it up to firm incoming damage, while still remembering to drop it so as to avoid depleting it altogether. Assuming you've done this successfully, and you've been able to absorb some damage, then you'll also have charged your power orbs at the same time. You can see the UI at the bottom of the screen to monitor how far they've charged, and once you've charged them, you will see them not only depicted as pink orbs on the UI, but also your character's antenna will have orbs on too. With these charged, you can now use them in conjunction with your special abilities. Your first special ability is Lifeline. With this, you'll connect a lifeline to an ally, and all whilst tethered, MEKKO will take a percentage of their incoming damage. Notice the little rubber ring around their waist too, which is a really nice extra little detail. Whilst tethered, you can move freely, but if you move too far, the tether will break. You'll see this as it will start to go red, but more importantly, if you are tethered to an ally and they are in immediate danger, you can then activate the ability to wind them into safety. Sort of like Scorpion's "Get Over Here," only without the brutality at the end. However, if you have your shield up whilst activating this ability, this allows you to consume a power orb in the process. Doing so will still tether you to your ally, but it will also give them a shield on top. So this is handy for giving them a little bit of extra protection too. Your second special ability is Safety Zone. With this, you'll drop a zone at your feet that grants yourself and your allies armor and lifesteal, all whilst they remain within it. However, if you choose to use a power orb with this ability, it will also throw down a little something extra into the mix. Any enemies standing inside will receive reduced healing from external sources, so if they have a healer trying to keep them topped up, and you drop this, those heals won't be as effective. So it's a great way for keeping the pressure up. You'll also notice the difference since the field will have this purple colour instead. Then finally, your third special is Surge. With this, you dash forwards, knocking enemies away in your path. You can use this to barge them off a point, push them into an environmental hazard, or just give your team some breathing room. However, what's more, if you combine this with a power orb, all whilst you are surging, you'll also heal yourself in the process. You can see this with the visible healing icons appearing around you as you travel. So while this can be used defensively, if you need to get out of a sticky situation, this might just keep you alive. Now let's talk about your super abilities. You have two options to choose from here. The first one is Sonic Barrage. With this, you barrage enemies with the Sonic Blasts, dealing heavy damage and pushing them back in the process. This may take a little getting used to at first, since you don't aim the barrage in the conventional sense. Instead, you aim it by moving. So you essentially want to activate it and charge and move towards your enemies to force them back and damage them in the process. Alternatively, you have my favourite super, Exclusion Bubble. This traps the enemies inside a bubble, and while they can't take damage when they're inside this, they also can't move, so they're pretty much immobilised until it pops. The enemy team can destroy the bubble, but more importantly, you can charge into the bubble to move it, so as I'm sure you can imagine, this is going to prove pretty useful for trapping enemies and pushing them off the stage, or into fire pits, or other environmental hazards. Definitely one of those troll supers, which is probably why I love it so much. But that, my friends, is pretty much it for MEKKO, a really awesome addition to the tank roster with a rather unique playstyle. A little bit of a steeper learning curve than some of the other characters, but once mastered, a definite asset for your team. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Again, if you missed any of the previous guides, you can find them over on the channel, and as always, be sure to keep it locked for plenty more.